Today, we're taking a look into the future. But we're not talking about some far-off, distant sci-fi world. No, we're looking at 2026. IBM's top experts have put a stake in the ground, making some really bold predictions about massive shifts in computing, AI, and, maybe most importantly, how businesses are actually going to get value from it all. So let's dive right in. This quote right here from IBM's Jamie Garcia, it pretty much says it all. We've moved past theory. That's the key takeaway. What we're about to talk about isn't just a bunch of cool ideas. It's a tangible roadmap for stuff IBM believes will have a real-world impact way sooner than you'd probably think.
So, what does this future actually look like? Well, all of IBM's predictions for 2026 really boil down to three core themes. First, a huge leap in just raw computing power. Second, the rise of what they call AI agents. Think of them as our new digital coworkers. And third, a really critical focus on trust, security, and actually seeing a return on all this AI investment.
Let's start with that first pillar because it deals with the most futuristic-sounding tech of them all, quantum computing. Now, for years, it's been this fascinating but, kind of abstract concept. Well, IBM predicts that's all going to change in 2026. And here is the big headline claim. It's super clear. By the end of 2026, IBM has publicly committed that a quantum computer will solve a practical, valuable problem better than any traditional supercomputer possibly can. And we're not just talking about some lab experiment. This is a specific milestone with a very firm deadline. So what do they actually mean by quantum advantage? Well, it's not just about doing something in a new way. It's about being demonstrably better at a task that has real economic or scientific value. Things like discovering new medicines or optimizing these massive, complicated financial portfolios. Real-world stuff. Now, it's really important to get the distinction they're making here. You might remember hearing the term quantum supremacy a few years back. That was basically a technical proof of concept on a pretty abstract problem. Quantum advantage is the next and, frankly, much more practical step. It's all about outperforming the best classical computers on a problem that businesses will actually pay money to solve. And this right here is the hardware IBM says is going to get them there, the Nighthawk processor. It's 120 qubits, and these next-gen couplers are designed to handle circuits that are 30% more complex. And that power allows it to perform up to 5,000 of the critical operations needed for these super advanced calculations. This 2026 goal is just the beginning. It's really just a critical milestone on a much longer journey. If you look at their public roadmap, they're targeting even more powerful systems in 2027, with the ultimate grand prize being a fault-tolerant quantum computer by 2029. Okay, so from the future of hardware, let's switch gears to a software trend that's already happening, embedding these specialized AI agents directly into the tools we use every single day. Right? It's a term we hear all the time, but it can be a little fuzzy. When IBM talks about agents, they are not talking about a single, all-knowing chatbot like we see in the movies. No, it's something much more specific and, honestly, a whole lot more useful. Agentic AI is all about focus. These are specialized, purpose-built AI tools. Each one has a really narrow scope and a measurable output. So instead of thinking about one generalist, imagine a whole team of highly skilled experts, and each one is just ready to perform one specific task perfectly. And here's what this looks like in the real world. Inside IBM's DB2 database software, you get a whole team of these little agents. The text-to-SQL agent, it translates plain English into a database query. The ChangeGuard agent basically acts like a detective to find the root cause of a performance problem. Each one is designed to solve a very specific headache. And this stuff is not just for techies. For example, in IBM's supply chain software, there's an order cancellation agent. Its one crucial job: enforce all these complex business rules to stop a company from losing money on canceled orders. It's a super high-stakes, rule-heavy task where a narrow, specialized agent is going to win against a general model every single time. Which brings us to the third and final pillar, the business side of things. Why this big strategic shift towards embedded, specialized agents? Well, it's a direct response to a massive problem that pretty much defined the last year or so in tech. A lot of companies found themselves stuck in what's being called AI pilot purgatory. It's a great term, right? They launched countless experiments with AI, but when the time came to show a real, positive return on investment, the projects just stalled. The value wasn't justifying the cost. So IBM's strategy is designed to solve that problem head on. Step 1, bring the AI to the software people already use. No need for expensive new platforms. Step 2, let the AI work on the data right where it lives, securely. And step 3, and this is huge, make sure it all operates within the existing security and compliance rules. For big companies, this isn't a nice to have. It's the only way this works.
And the proof is in the pudding. This isn't just a theory. A client, Owens, Illinois, migrated their systems to DB2 and saw a 7-figure cost reduction and a 30% performance boost. Now, that is the kind of measurable, real-world value that businesses have been waiting for.
So, after all that, the future of hardware, the future of software, the business strategy, what are the big takeaways? What does this new tech frontier actually mean for all of us? It really all boils down to these 3 major shifts. First, quantum computing stops being just this theoretical exercise and starts becoming a practical tool for solving real problems. Second, AI moves from being a standalone thing to an embedded coworker, a team of specialists inside the software we already have. And finally, the era of endless experimentation is over. It's giving way to a laser focus on delivering a mandatory, measurable return on investment.
And that leaves us with this really fascinating final thought from one of IBM's experts. The tools are changing fundamentally. We're moving from just being users of software to becoming orchestrators, or as they put it, composers of these AI agents. So the real question for 2026 and beyond is, with these powerful new tools at our fingertips, what will we choose to create?